This is Joyce Tice at the History Center on Main Street. It's February 2019, and Terry Mudge has come in to visit us and talk about his time as track coach at Mansfield High School. So do you want to start and tell us about your time with that?
I will. I was a history teacher and asked by a couple of my students if I would consider being a track coach. And at the time, the girls' track didn't amount to much of anything.
What year was that?
And this was 1974. And until 1974, there was just one track meet a year for the girls. And it was called the county meet. And it just didn't seem right that there would just be one meet. And I think, well, obviously they felt the same way. And the coach at the time was the girls' phys ed teacher, and she wasn't interested in actually coaching any longer. And so they approached me about it. Well, I had no experience in coaching track.
Did you ever run? Did you ever participate?
I ran. I just did some running around town,
Okay.
distance running. I was always interested in track, but there was never a track program in high school.
Right.
When I went through, anyway. But there were two of my students, Peggy Hurley and Carolyn Maxson, and they asked me again if I would consider doing this. And it didn't take me long and they were great kids. I said, well, yeah, I guess I would do it. And I talked with the athletic director, Britt Bixby, and so, yes, I would do it. And in considering it, I again talked with Britt about it and said, you know, it seems as though we ought to have more than one meet. And why don't we contact some of the other schools around and see if we can have some meets previous to the county meet. And I said, would you do that for me?
Just two teams at a time?
Yeah, whatever we could do. And of course we had no track here, but could we have some meets maybe up at the college? Could we contact them and have our home meets there? And so I got the ball rolling, and Britt helped me out with it, and so it was, and we in that year had 4 meets previous to the county meet. That was the beginning.
Do you remember who they were with?
I don't recall now just who they were.
Mm-hmm.
I think Canton was one, and I don't recall.
Okay.
Probably Wellsboro maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and but as a result of that, the league, a league was formed that continued on to the present time. And so I sort of pat myself on the back and say, Terry Mudge
founded
the girls' track league.
Uh-huh.
So I give myself some credit for that.
Good.
Anyway, and the next year we had a considerably larger number of meets,
Mm-hmm.
and we were very successful with it. The girls really appreciated it, to have a program like that, and they loved the track and field
How many
program.
did you have? How many people on it? You don't remember?
I don't recall, but there were probably 30 girls or something
Wow.
like that.
Wow.
And but I was the only coach for the girls,
Uh-huh.
and to have that many girls, and then there were 16 events,
Wow.
and then to try to work with them and get around and help them was quite a task.
Sure.
And for years, I never had an assistant until maybe the last few, and they finally got me an assistant to help out.
How many years did you do it?
I did it for 7.
7.
And I finished in '81, and that was the year that my daughter graduated.
Okay.
And I decided to retire at that time because my son, I thought, needed my attention at that time.
You retired just from coaching?
Yes, just from coaching.
Right.
And he loved to hunt, and particularly he liked to hunt turkeys in the spring. And I thought, well, I've given my time for my daughter, and now it's time to give my time to my son. And so I stopped coaching girls track. And anyway, that's the story as far as that's concerned. But during that time, my success was I had 132 track victories with 7 losses and 1 tie.
That's incredible.
And again, it was because the girls had so much enthusiasm.
That is really amazing.
Yeah. And there were a number of league championships. I don't recall just how many, but
Probably most of them.
most of them were our league championships and 2 district championships.
And explain the area of the league and the area of the district.
The league would be basically Tioga County, and then sometimes the league would include Bradford County as well. It varied back and forth. District, however, would include, of course, Tioga, Potter, well, over to Gelton.
Okay.
Bradford County, it would get down to Lewisburg, Selinsgrove,
Wow.
Bloomsburg, Danville. It's a very large district. So that's quite an accomplishment
Oh, yeah.
to win that. And it's not only our size school, but it's we would be a very small school in that district.
Competing with big schools.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So what years did you win district?
We won districts in 1981 and 1980. 1980, 1981.
Boy, you retired on a high note.
Yes. and again, that was a good time to get out. To get out with a really good championship.
Excellent.
District championship.
Did you do any other coaching besides track?
I did at one time. I coached girls at one time, JV.
Okay.
And
Basketball.
And I also coached junior high basketball. And I can say that I coached Tom McMillan and those boys in their first interscholastic basketball.
Now, since I have you here,
Yes.
we're planning on our championship weekend on March 16th and 17th, and I hope you'll be there because a lot of your former students will want to see you.
Yes.
But you're best friends with Rich Miller, who died just
Yes.
last spring. And I wonder if you would talk a little bit about Rich and about the '69 season. I'm sure you were at every game.
I was. I of course kept the clock for all of his coaching time
And after.
here. And after and before. When I came to Mansfield to teach, Les Evans asked me to keep the clock, and I kept the clock for 51 years. And
You sure know how to do it.
Yes. So I retired from that just a couple of years ago. 51 years of
That's
that.
a legend.
Yes, yes. So I was there for all of Rich's years, and before and after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And of course, I went to all the basketball games that they played, the tournaments, all the championship, or well, all of the tournaments that they went to all over the countryside. I was with Rich, yeah, and we had some great times together.
I know you did.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, is there anything else you would like to say before we wrap this up?
We just had some great times together, and the good victories and the bad times of losing as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I can recall those as well. Yeah. They were great times in Mansfield. And
Absolutely.
with Rich and for the community as well. He did a lot for the community. The team did a lot for the community. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in, and I really appreciate telling your story.
Yes.